Hello, and welcome to Monday Mindfulness. Today, I'm actually in the process of moving house. I'm kind of used to it by now, so it's a, it's a, it's a bit of a process that I'm comfortable with, but it's different today. Like you might see that the banners and everything are gone. I've got a whole bunch of things stacked up here, and yeah, getting ready to not only move into a new place but go on holiday in between that. So I'm taking a few weeks over Christmas to go and rest and sit and do very little of anything, recharge the batteries over the Christmas break. So yeah, I'm in a fairly sensitive place, and that's the topic of today's meditation practice. It's about really building comfort with sensitivity. And I'm noticing that even though I'm used to traveling and I'm used to picking up new places all the time, I feel like I'm very sensitive, a little bit vulnerable in this move. And at the same time, I'm very, very grateful for the gifts that this place has given me, that this beautiful building and the people and the family around it have given me. And I'm also really excited for the beauty, opportunities, and just wonderful place that I'm moving into as well. And at the same time as I'm feeling all of that and just letting all of that be what it is, I'm also just feeling the need to be able to just sit with what I'm feeling, and like a whole bunch of things, just to be able to be in no rush to take any action. Yeah. So I feel like it's time to just take a few breaths between things, slow down, and yeah, really be able to honor not only my needs but my intentions and also the community's needs. So yeah, it's a nice feeling, this going into sensitivity and knowing that there's a phase for it. Like I personally prefer to have times when I'm pretty gung ho and a lot of action. I try to stay sensitive at the same time, but with a lot of that movement, that can be either a bit challenging or a bit counterproductive. But I think there's a balance that we can ride and flow and go through phases with. But I do enjoy time just to sit and just to be able to, as I was saying, recharge the batteries, get super, super sensitive, do some interesting practices, whatever comes through, whatever feels right at the time. So yeah, I'm not really sure what this Christmas New Year period has installed, but I feel like it's a real beautiful opportunity to be able to take space, get conscious on what I'm looking to create and what I'm looking to share and what I'm looking to be part of. And yeah, come back and be able to dive into it with grace. So, speaking of grace, now that we've talked a bit about this season, this Christmas season, it can be a time um, when it can be a little bit challenging, especially if you're up here in the winter, to be able to embrace sensitivity. If it's cold, it can be challenging to embrace that. If there's a lot of emotional stuff going on with the reset of the year or with time with family, that can be a lot to accept and take in all at once. So, what I'd like to do today is just a very simple technique that can just help to build a little bit of a habit of being able to stay with sensitivity and um, and just being able to savor the details. And for me, that's really powerful this time of year. Like, for example, jazz music is something that I really savor, and it brings not just the music, but a whole bunch of emotional stuff, a bunch of mental stories, a bunch of all kinds of things that come together in this New Year's period. And there's many other, I think each person has their own unique approach or perspective on this festive season, and it can be a fairly intense period. So this practice is about being able to take space to experience and savor in small doses, and then maybe in some intense periods, we can also keep that perspective, that sensitivity, and that grace that it helps us to be at our most effective. I'm not saying less or more effective is any better or worse than anything else, but or each other. But yeah, if that's what you want, I like this practice or this type of practice to be able to just sit with sensitivity and be able to open to that, even when it feels a little bit vulnerable. And this is just a very simple practice that we're going to do. Um, I'll show you. We're going to just stretch our wrist a little bit first. And we can do both to even it up. But really take attention to your wrist and notice how it feels for that skin to stretch. Notice how it feels to open that part of the wrist. Because it can feel a little bit sensitive and vulnerable here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently, we want to be, yeah, respectful of ourselves at the same time as we do this. But we're just going to be very gently becoming aware of all of the little subtle details when we touch a sensitive part of the body, like the inside of the wrist. So very slowly, very gently, bringing our fingers into contact with the wrist. Notice the details even before you touch. It's okay to have your eyes open for this one. If you want to close them at any point, you can. So very slowly making contact, noticing that touch, that sensitivity, any pressure, movement, heat. Noticing all the details there. Taking a breath to soak it all in. Now slowly taking the hand off the wrist. Staying with the present moment experience, noticing the details. Just feeling how many fingers you want to make contact with the wrist. And just gently placing one finger after the other onto the wrist as if you're playing a piano. Just lifting, dropping fingers as you feel fit. Stay present with the wrist. Now bringing all the fingers to the wrist, noticing how that feels, noticing if there's a pulse there, Just staying open to the experience in the wrist. Staying with it a few breaths longer. Taking the fingers off the wrist. Noticing what happens there. Staying with it a few more breaths. With clear, open awareness, slowly bringing the fingers to the wrist. Taking a breath and lifting them off. Just doing that a few times in your own time. Noticing, noticing, noticing. Now just slowly placing your hands on your knees, noticing if there's any difference in the wrists, just being able to stay here for a minute, open, sensitive, allowing each moment to pass, each experience to be unique and exactly as it is. And slowly keeping that sensitivity, just bringing any adjustments, any stretches that your body's asking for. Just respecting and moving the body as you come back into the room. So, with that practice, I feel much more patient. I feel much more graceful and in no rush. I feel very sensitive, especially in the right wrist. That was the one that I was practicing with. And I just feel more able to take my time, able to relax and not really needing to rush at all. So very patient, very open. I I hope you enjoy the practice, and I tend to use this practice a lot as an introduction to, especially when I was first starting to get into mindfulness. I used this particular practice when I was looking to approach something that I found rather scary, like something that was deeply emotional that I've been carrying for a while, or some um, other thing that I'd be often trying to distract myself from, like yeah, like some really deeply rooted belief systems and things like that. If I really was going into an intense journey, I'd sometimes do a simple sensitivity technique like that, where I could be vulnerable and raw and sensitive and just be okay for at least one or two more breaths. And yeah, it really gave me that habit and that anchoring of being able to um, stay. So I hope you enjoy the practice. Please let me know if you've got any questions or feedback. Subscribe down here. Uh, this side, actually, I think it is. Wherever you find the subscribe button down here, go for it. And yeah, if you want to leave any feedback, it's very welcome. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful festive season, wonderful experience with this practice. Love you guys. Mwah. Ciao.